If you're just tuning in, lucky you, because you're here with Don Getling, Gino Fronti with the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show, and we have our incredible, wonderful guest, and so fun, Wendy Offshack with Fresh Start by Design. And, of course, we brought her on beginning of the year for a reason. Everybody wants a fresh start. Everybody wants to do something with their lives. And I love the way, Wendy, you put this, and I'm going to quote you. My goal is to help people become the person they always wanted to be. That is awesome.
Thank you. You know, we all go through life, and so often we're pulled in so many directions, and our life kind of doesn't become our own, and we tend to forget that at times. And with the economy, and we get so bombarded by everything that's going on, we kind of forget who we were starting out to be in the beginning of our world or our life. And so my job is to help people go back and find that again, because they just get so trapped. Exactly. They just kind of, sometimes they just end up going through the motions of everyday life, and they end up kind of losing direction and losing their dreams. And you know, there's nothing worse in the whole world than losing your dreams.
Oh, that's a good point. And we want to make sure you don't lose these dreams today. Make sure you tune in. If you have to step out of the car and get on your computer at www.hometownstation.com, click on the Listen Live button. Or if you'd like to watch us, this is live on TV right now, believe it or not, on Ustream, the letter U, stream.tv. Type in Don and Gino, and you can see us in the studio and see our lovely Wendy in our studio
Don,
today.
you just took my job, man.
I did. I don't want them to miss out. I want them to make sure that they don't miss any of this, because this is good stuff. This is what we all need, especially beginning of the year, right, Wendy?
Absolutely.
I mean, everybody's a little lost lately. Everybody's been a little challenged lately.
Right.
I mean, what's going on?
Well, what happens is people get so overwhelmed with everything that's going on. They encompass a thing called emotional paralysis. And when you have so much to do and you have so many tasks and you don't have a clue what to do and what to do first, you end up not doing anything. And I call that my alligator syndrome. And that's a really tough thing to go through.
Oh, sorry. I was just texting, calling, and writing a book just now.
Well, that's a good point, Don. It's information overload as well.
God,
I mean,
yes.
it's, you know, we're on the show and it's like, oh, wait, and here's my Ustream, and here's my text, and here's my phone number, and here's my email, and
my Twitter, and
my Facebook, and so it's information overload.
It is.
So not to mention the responsibilities that we have, but the amount of information. It's like, oh, I sent you a message on Facebook. Oh, I didn't check it tonight. Oh, well, I'm sorry. No, now you missed me. I can't believe you weren't there for me. You know, it's like,
oh my God.
So you have to be in a lot of places at a lot of times. So
Exactly.
I think it's very easy to get overwhelmed.
It does. Totally.
So what do we do about it?
Well, you know, that whole
alligator syndrome. Yeah, what is that? I mean, I don't want to get eaten, so I better pay attention. So pay attention on here so you don't get eaten by alligators.
You know, it's really funny. When I first started my real estate business back in the, mid-'80s, when I first owned my company, my partner and I hadn't even ever run a real estate office, so we just kind of stepped up, and it was one of those, okay, I guess we'll go do this. And when we did this, we were kind of overwhelmed. And my dad, being the wonderful retired Navy captain that he is, he came to me one time because I was kind of going, oh, my God, Dad, I have so much to do. And he says, honey, let me tell you, when you are up to your behind in alligators.
This is a family show.
The FCC appreciates
The FCC
that.
appreciates that. When you're up to your behind in alligators, it's hard to remember that your main objective is to drain the swamp. And so I went, yeah. I mean, at that point, I could hardly find the swamp, much less try and drain it. And so that's what emotional paralysis is really all about, is you just kind of go, oh, my God, and it gets really tough. So you just have to be able to kind of fall back, regroup, and kind of move on.
Okay, speaking of regrouping, I want to regroup a little bit and add, because I've known you so long, Wendy, I've worked with you, literally with you as a partner, many times actually. I've seen your success. I mean, this is somebody, I want to add a little credibility, and I don't want you to have to do it. I want to do it because I've seen your businesses thrive. And the fact that Wendy said she's been in the business since the 70s is not trying to add credibility to her age. It's because I don't want to do that.
I'm not old, really.
No, you aren't. That's why I was saying you were running companies when you were in your early 30s. So that's why I added that credibility.
I was 28 when I bought my first real estate office.
So there you go.
Yeah.
You've always been energetic and always visionary. Always. I always come to you for advice and skills. But there's something to be said about credibility, meaning the amount of years and the amount of years you've been running businesses, had businesses come up and down based on economy, not based on your efforts. Believe me, I've seen that, and I've been part of them.
Real estate's been really good to me and really bad to me.
Yeah. And I guarantee there's a lot of you out there that said, oh, whether it's real estate or lending or your business or whatever industry you're in, we've all gone through it one way or another, and I know you have probably gone through it. And Wendy's gone through so much that it lends credibility. I was just teasing her. I go, it's nice that you've had all those years of running businesses, listening to people, running business, giving advice, coming up with solutions, that you can give quality advice to help others versus somebody who's 15 years old trying to sing you a love song. I have a hard time with that.
What, do you have a problem with Justin Bieber?
Anyways, I'm not going to pick on the #1 singer in the world,
I was gonna say, you're just jealous.
anyway.
It was David Cassidy when I was young, if you remember that. But okay, anyway.
But you know what I mean? I mean, how much experience can he have with love to sing love songs?
Yeah.
Now, they're fun to listen to, but I'm not taking his advice.
I totally understand that. For the last long time, I have, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of clients and my agents that I have trained over the years. And one of the things that I prided myself on was the fact that I would take any situation and I could personally look at the big picture. And a lot of times I would help people see through things that they weren't able to see. And so we, bring them in and we ask them questions, and
The right questions.
the right questions. And it's a path. It's a guidance. It's someplace that you really have to be able to go. And so I learned over the years to ask the right questions, to be able to go when they gave me an answer, then I would go in another direction, or I'd help them come to the conclusions that were really necessary. And one of the things that I thought was important was the fact that sometimes we came to the conclusion that it wasn't the right time for them to do real estate business with us. And we told them that. We said, this isn't good for you.
Honesty.
Honesty.
Uh-oh.
Lo and behold.
Exactly. And we sent them right out the door. So, but by doing that, we earned their business for life because it wasn't about us. It was about them.
A real partnership.
A real partnership. And that's what's so important in life.
That's very quality stuff, Wendy. And if you're just tuned in, that's Wendy Offshack. She is the CEO of Fresh Start by Design, personal transformation coaching, and professional motivational speaker. I mean, she's here to help you.
Absolutely.
And we love that.
Thank you.
Yeah, so, obviously right now a lot of people are going through a lot of difficulty with short sales, divorces, losing their houses. I mean, there was always a lot of difficulty, but it seems like in these times there's extra difficulty, right? The economy's been pressing on everybody. So what types of situations do you find these people in, and how do you help them? How do you know what the right questions are? How do you guide them?
Well, that's a really good question, Gino. And what I say is that the very first question that I ask people is, who's in control of your life? And all the time, without exception.
We say our wives?
Exactly.
That would be too much honesty, Don.
Love you, Cindy.
Me too, Noah.
They always tell you that they're in control. And so then I say, well, why are you having the difficulties that you're having? And then they tell me whose fault it is. And they say, it's the bank's fault. It's the credit card company's fault. It's the recession. It's this. It's that. And what that tells me right away is that they aren't in control of their life. And so one of the things that I have to do is be able to bring them back on track and help them understand that their life is their own. And it kind of empowers you. I have a quick story about a lady. She was about to lose her house. And when I
never heard that story before.
I know. I mean, it was really tough. I was talking to her, and she was like beside herself on what she was going to be able to do. So we talked, and we had a lot of questions. And she came across as a very, very upscale, kind of successful woman. And she came in, and, her nails were done, and her house was beautiful, and this and that and the other thing. And I started talking about what she was doing. And what happened was her kids, she had 3 different kids. Her kids were all in social events like soccer and dance and all this other kind of good stuff. And, she was still getting her nails done, and yet she's losing her house. And so the question you have to ask yourself is, who really is in control? And you can't blame the bank for this. The choices that you're making by having your nails done, by putting your kids in soccer, do you want your kids to play soccer, or do you want them to have a house? And that's a tough question for people.
So figuring out their priorities
Exactly.
it's got to be a challenge these days. I mean, all of us.
Yeah.
I mean, it's called a lifestyle change. You know, Gino mentioned earlier about the U.S. and other countries dealing with a little gluttony
Exactly.
because things were so good. And that was a fun ride, without a doubt. I wrote
yeah.
it. I wrote it. You wrote it.
We had a ball.
Well, it was great. So, you know, we're not pointing fingers. It just is a reality check, is
Exactly.
it not?
And, you know, one of the things I heard a long time ago was about the fact that, you know, so many people are in denial because they're not willing to accept the responsibility for themselves. And I found an acronym for denial, and it's don't even know I am lying.
And you know, it's true. And you know
Like
what's actually sad about that
Not
is
just
that
a river in Egypt.
Exactly.
it's people lying to themselves.
Yes,
You know, it's not
exactly.
lying to others, you know, because, you know.
Well, it makes
the-
you feel good sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, you can justify almost anything.
yeah, I'm great at that, by the way. I'm a
Actually,
very
everybody-
rational justifier.
Actually, everybody is. Actually, and I'm going to quote, my wife's going to love this, is there's a quote in, I'm trying to think of the movie, where they talk about, you know, hey, you know, sex is the most important thing. And he goes, no, justification is. He goes, that's not even close. He goes, you ever gone a day without a good justification?
Oh, okay, that. And you know,
On that note.
yeah. What the deal is there's just so many tough decisions that you have to make today, and you just have to figure out what they are. And that's kind of one of the things that I do.
So we're going to come back and talk more about what you do and how you can change your life this year, right now. There's no someday on the calendar. It is today. When we come back to the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.